Hello, folks. Welcome to the 100th episode of the MegaMets Podcast, and tonight we are really going down a puroresu rabbit hole.
I am not surprised by this. I am not surprised at all. This is something I didn't think we'd be doing.
It'll be Dramatic Dream Team's, or DDT's, 20th anniversary Judgement from Korakuen Hall. For those who are not familiar with this promotion, debuting in 1997 or 98, this promotion is basically a melting pot of different wrestling styles. You've got your strong styles, you got your technicians, you've got your King's Roads, you've got your lucha libre, you've got your comedy, and you've got your death matches all rolled into this one.
Well. Isn't that nice?
Mm-hmm. And we kick it off with a six-man tag match that will determine the new and 57th King of Dreams six-man tag title team champions. For those who wonder what happened with the last champions, they got vacated after one of the members, Canon, was basically kicked out of Damnation TA, or Damnation Totally Addicted. As such,
that's gotta suck.
So the men involved in this one are Kazusada Higuchi, Ryota Nakatsu, and Yuki Ishida against Shuma Katsumata, Yumiko, and Kazuma Sumi. This is also a return from injury for both Higuchi and Katsumata.
Of course. This is going to be a tough one. A six-man tag match. I can't decide who's going to win this one.
Honestly, me neither, but I'm gonna go with the more experienced hands here. I'm gonna give this to Higuchi, Ishida, and Nakatsu.
You made a wise decision. I'm going with the new blood, Katsumata, Uni, and Sumi.
Fair enough. You're up.
And now we move up. A three-way dance with a 30-minute time limit. Toru Owashi versus Antonio Honda versus Kazuki Hirata.
This is probably going to be more of a comedy match to cool down after a hard-hitting six-man, which I wouldn't blame them in this case. Especially when you consider that Honda is basically an over 50-year-old goofball. Owashi's in his late 40s, and Hirata is basically this 30-some-odd-year-old dance-crazed nut.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously. For context, watch him versus Hiromu over the Iron Man Heavy Metalweight title back at Ultimate Party in 23.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I almost laughed myself to death watching that match.
No surprising there.
I'm going to give it to Hirata.
You actually made the wising decision. I'm probably giving it also to Hirata. I'm giving it Hirata.
In a special tag match, Damnation TA's MJ Paul and Ilusion take on JJ Furno and Tomomitsu Matsunaga.
That's a toughie. Very tough, to say the least.
That's for sure.
I'm probably going to be picking MJ Paul and Ilusion. Since truth be told, I know very little about some of these guys.
In all honesty, I do have a Wrestle Universe account, folks, but I mostly use it for Noah, dabbling in the DDT very seldom. And my second most watched promotion I do on that damn thing is Tokyo Joshi Pro. But let me just say this, folks. You wouldn't believe the locations DDT picks for their wrestling events, especially things that are supposed to go around an hour or less. They'll do them in aquariums, in theme parks,
that's absurd.
Camps, houseboats, bathhouses, and on a couple of outdoor farmers markets, and on a couple of occasions on a bullet train. I'm not making this up.
I know. I believe you. That's some
Yeah.
crazy. That's like the hardcore match, but except the fact is like, how do I put this? Like you fight anywhere.
Right. I mean, in the cases where they're wrestling on trains, it's a battle royal style match. You either get eliminated by pinfall or submission, or getting thrown off the train at wherever it stops.
Wow.
With no way to get back up and not being able to get back on it. Heck, there was even one case in 2017, Minoru Suzuki against Sanshiro Takagi in an empty Tokyo Dome.
Yeah.
That was so stupid. I'm gonna get to Furno and Matsunaga. You're up.
Alrighty then. A 6-man tag match. 30-minute time limit. Masato Oishi, Akito and Suba Takao versus Yukio Naya, Yuya Takashika, and Keigo Nakamura.
Technically, his name is Yuya Koroku, but I'll let it go.
Hey, I try to pronunciate it right.
Yeah, there's some mistranslations.
Yeah, not even. I'm using Edge, and I can't even get the translation. So I'm going as I can.
I know. Anyway, this is basically your young blood match from what I can understand. And if you were to ask me, let's get the guys who haven't held gold yet at a bone. I'm giving this to Yukio Naya, Yuya Koroku, and Keigo Nakamura.
That's pretty fair.
To me, at least, Naya's momentum after winning the Dio Grand Prix a year or two ago has basically stagnated. For those who don't know what that is, the Dio Grand Prix is basically DDT's answer to both the G1 and the N1, but it's held in the winter and there's only like 12 men involved in it. The winner gets relatively an immediate KOD openweight title shot.
Yeah.
Next up,
the tag match.
Jun Akiyama and Daichi Saito against Harashima and Takeshi Shoda. Takeshi Masada. For anyone who remembers, if the name Jun Akiyama rings any bells, you have to go back to the annals of all Japan history. He was basically the unofficial fifth pillar of heaven, alongside the likes of Kawada, Misawa, Callaway, and what was the other one? Oh, Kobayashi. Kobashi. That's how long Akiyama has lasted in the game, since the 80s. And then he Kobashi, Callaway, they all followed Misawa to form Pro Wrestling Noah, and he won gold there. Hell, in 2009, when Misawa was inadvertently killed in that tag match, Akiyama actually vacated the GHC heavyweight title out of grief and respect. Give it to more experienced hands. I'm taking it to Akiyama and Saito.
I'm probably giving it to Harashima and Takeshi. Sorry, dude, but I kind of like how the young blood works. I want to help them grow.
All right. Oh, God.
Now it's my turn. I take it you're not happy with this. For the DDT Extreme Championship match, it's a loser's entry match. The champion, Danshoku Dino, will face off against Super Sasarango Machine. Did I get it right?
You got it right.
Good.
Anyone who knows our Pro Wrestling Last Love holdout preview in 2023 will know I hate Dino's character with a passion. It's basically Taguchi on steroids.
Well, this might not end well.
I mean, I get the guy is legitimately gay both in and out of the ring. But with kids in the audience, you don't justify dropping your trousers and exposing that you're wearing a thong and then teabagging your opponents 24/7.
That's disgusting. You gotta show some stability, some standards.
I mean, true. The Pheromones disbanded in November of 23, and most have gone their separate ways. Yumehito Minari back in Ganbare Pro where he belongs, and is the top dog. Last I checked, he's the Spirit of Ganbare Pro champion. Yuki no longer sexy. He's gone back to more of his strongman route and had a stint with the KOD tag titles last year.
Yeah.
And then you look at the stipulations for this one. If Sasadago loses, he becomes a regular
Hold on.
DDT.
Be right back.
When I said we were going down the rabbit hole, folks, I meant it.
Sorry, had to take care of a family matter. Where were we?
I was about to go off on the stipulations of this match.
Okay, so what are the stipulations? Please tell me. I need to know.
If Sasadago loses, he becomes a full-time member of the DDT roster instead of a semi-affiliated one. If Dino loses, his dog becomes a member of the roster.
His dog? Are you serious? I just don't have the right words.
Special referee, Amon Surumi.
Wow.
I mean, I get the whole thing behind the Super Sasandago Machine character. It's a tribute to the old Super Strong Machine characters of the 80s. You know, the 70s and 80s in New Japan. But that said, this is a guy, both these guys are roughly in their 50s. Does either one of them need to be wearing this belt?
Yeah.
I mean, sure, Dino's character, his gimmick, leans more into the quote-unquote extreme aspect of the championship. But it's not needed in my view. As much as I hate to do this, I'll give this sicko a retention.
Fine, let him have the retention. I could care less. Moving on.
Daisuke Sasaki versus Kanan. This is basically after Kanan betrayed Damnation TA, he's now out on destroying it. Sasaki is the leader of the group, and he's one of the better wrestlers in DDT. He can do the technical stuff, but he's predominantly a deathmatch specialist. I'm expecting this one to get violent. That said, I am going to give this to Kanan.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you stand on this?
I'm probably going to pick Daisuke.
Fair enough.
Let's head on to the next match. Oh boy, this one's going to be a doozy and a half. It's a KOD Tag Championship match. The champions, Mao and Toei.
His name is Mao.
Mao and Toei versus the challengers, Fuminori Abe and Takuya Nomura.
Those who don't know, Mao and Toei are part of the faction known as the 37 Kamina in DDT, one of them, which is more of a younger stable than most would give them credit for. They're good, but Abe and Nomura are a little below them, but they could exceed them tomorrow morning / night if you live in Japan. My pick, I'm going to let the champs retain. Where do you stand, partner?
For this, I'm most likely. I'll pick the. I think this is tough. This is their second title defense, so I think they should retain.
You're taking a retention for the Sonic Club?
Yeah.
Okay. Now the match that, in my opinion, I'm looking forward to for the DT Universal title. Yuki Ueno defends against the King, Murder Grandpa, the most miserable son of a bitch in all of wrestling, Minoru Suzuki.
Oh my.
And I mean that literally, folks. 3.5 years ago, I went to a local promotion event that Suzuki was doing doing a match at. It's on my YouTube channel. Go watch it. And Suzuki is just a sadist to the core. And I mean, granted, he never really shows up in DDT because to him, it's a joke with a number of legit wrestlers. He could count on only one hand as opposed to a rap sheet made out of a buffalo scrotum of a bunch of guys that he views as clowns. But Ueno is one of those few, at least in his mind, legit wrestlers.
This will be an interesting show.
I mean, especially when Suzuki's facing someone roughly half his age. Ueno, I think last I checked, he's 29. I'll double check now. Yeah, he's 29 years old. To Suzuki's 56, going on 57.
Wow. That's crazy.
And what does he like to do to young boys like Ueno? Beat them the fuck up, twist, contort, and break their bodies until they cry for their mothers. And do it with a sick, sadistic smile, laughing all the way, and all the while the fans are chanting Kaze ni Nare as he walks to the ring. But do I think he'll win? Sadly, no. I'm giving this to Ueno.
That's pretty fair. I believe Ueno should retain. As much as Suzuki should earn it, nah, not yet. Not yet.
Or ever, given his age.
Yeah, I know. But even if he did win it, it wouldn't last long. And now, the main event. For the KOD Open Weight Championship. The champion, Chris Brooks versus the challenger, Masahiro Takanashi.
Takanashi won I don't remember what tournament he won recently, but it's what got him this title opportunity. Brooks recently won the title back at Ultimate Party off Ueno. And he's held the belt the last 3 or 4 months. This is his second run with the title. He had a run with it in 2023 before he dropped it to Ueno at the end of that year at the Ultimate Party, or near the end of it. For those who don't know what kind of a wrestler Brooks is, basically he's DDT's version of ZSJ. A Gaijin Jap Brit, but much more fluent in Japanese and more willing to use Japanese in his promos than Zack is.
Indeed.
I never watched a lot of Takanashi's content, but he's decent in his own right.
Yeah.
However, can Brooks get over that hump? He dropped the belt last time after 2 defenses. Can he get over it this time? I say he's going to get over it. I'm giving this to Chris Brooks to retain.
So who are you going to pick for this?
I picked Brooks.
I also pick Brooks. He will retain because I know it's going to lead to something else, something bigger.
True. Also, we have a New Japan Cup update. Tomorrow is the final. We're down to Finley and Umino, and I'm praying it is not Shooter who wins tomorrow, because there's only one way he wins tomorrow. He joins House of Torture, and that is the worst case scenario for me. Know what I mean?
Yeah.
Here's hoping that is not the case. But I'll find out in the morning. That's it for tonight's 100th episode of the MegaMets Podcast. I am thankful to everyone who's been here as we march down this road to 100 episodes since June of 2022. Comment, like, share, and sub to both our channels, and to a lesser extent, me, the ABSN. Goodbye, and good fucking night. Bang. Catch you next time when I'll be doing a prediction for New Japan's Sakura Genesis, then AEW Dynasty.
Nice.
Later, partner.
Later.